begin now with the Biden administration facing pushback from Republicans and Democrats alike over its handling of unidentified flying objects.
Yeah, the U.S. military took down another of those aerial objects over Lake Huron Sunday on orders from the president. That is the third one in 3 days taken down over the U.S. and Canada. And the fourth in eight days. This is happening a lot lately. The ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee, Democrat Jim Himes, told NBC News he is concerned the administration is not being forthcoming, in his words, about everything that it knows.
Senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins us now for more. Weijia, how's the White House responding so far to criticism from both sides about the administration's handling of these so-called airborne objects? It's hard to know how to refer to them if we don't know what they
They're
are.
UFOs. They're truly UFOs.
They are UFOs. They are, at this point, not balloons, except for that initial Chinese spy balloon that was confirmed as part of Beijing's surveillance program. These other three, the administration is just calling objects, as you mentioned, because they really don't know what they are. And that's part of the problem here, guys, is that, you know, they still have to recover the debris. They still have to study it. They still have to figure out, you know, who owns these objects, what they were doing in the air in the first place, what capabilities they have, whether they were able to surveil anything like the Chinese spy balloon. And so, you know, we haven't heard directly from the president himself. The White House is not yet putting him out, in part because they are still trying to assess exactly what these are. And of course, the timing raises even more questions because, you know, it's unclear whether this is a case of, you know, the radar improved after they shot down and started looking at the Chinese spy balloon. And, you know, there were always these UFOs in the air, and now we're just detecting them. There's also a big policy question, right? Because, you know, the president was very quick to shoot these three down. Does that mean anytime now that there's an unidentified flying object flying at this altitude, the U.S. is just going to shoot it down? They've been pressed many times about whether this is now the official policy, and they're not ready to say that yet. So I think the bottom line here is that there's so many more questions than answers. And, you know, that's one challenge that the White House has right now because they're trying to get in front of it. They're trying to bring out John Kirby. He's the National Security Council spokesperson, but he can only say so much, too, because they're still in the process of putting all that together.
Yeah, Weijia, you bring up a great point. What is the policy of our government toward these objects that are apparently floating over the U.S. And Canada? And it's yet to be determined. But, of course, politics will play into it. So I do want to get a question in now on the potential for former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley to announce a run for president in 2024. This could happen Wednesday. How might that impact the race and where we are politically in this country?
So our political unit is reporting that that is going to happen this week. And I think, you know, this is the opening of the floodgates, if you will, because there really aren't any high-profile Republicans other than former President Donald Trump, who has said officially that they are throwing their hat into the ring. And so she will likely be the first one. Of course, there's a long list of others expected to announce, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, among others. And she really has a unique situation because she did serve as a cabinet member under former President Trump. And when she left, she said that in 2024, she would not stand in the way if Trump decided to run again. So now he is, you know, reminding people she said that, calling her a liar, and there is that friction there. But she, you know, has a lot going for her in terms of her experience, in terms of the fact that she is not associating herself directly with Trump. So it'll be a really interesting development to see how this impacts not only her, but others who want to make sure they get their names out there, too.
It's a really remarkable situation. If you go back to 2016, and this is true of a lot of Republicans, but with Nikki Haley, she actually called then candidate Trump dangerous. Yes. Then, of course, she works with him, and now she would be challenging him for the job of being the next president. It's an interesting time to be covering politics. Weijia Jiang, thank you very much.
You're welcome.